Hello, I'm Madeline from Machine Slings, and this is the Joie Savvy carrier, which I have been sent by the lovely Tracy, the lady with the slings, to review. So I'm going to take you through this carrier from the waistband up. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of this carrier, show you how it works, give you a demo with a doll, and then I will compare it to some other carriers on the market and let you know what I really think of it. So the first thing to say about this carrier actually is it's an internal harness carrier, which means you fit it to you first and then you fit it to baby second. Internal harness carriers, as I've said before, have quite a bit of pros and cons of their own. So they can feel very easy to use because you fit you and baby separately. But the presence of the internal harness often comes with its own cons, in that it's often not as easy to get such a good and such a close fit for you and baby together, because you have the strapping between you. They often end up being more shoulder heavy. But let's get to this carrier in particular. So we've got the internal harness. Let's start at the waistband. What we have is a padded, but not overtly padded, not too heavy, not too bulky, relatively soft and malleable waistband with a really lovely big lumbar pad. In fact, this lumbar pad is very reminiscent of the Ergo one. And the result is actually quite a comfortable waistband, which we can get. So if I pop this on, which will fit a range of different shapes and sizes. And we've got plenty of webbing here, so it will go out pretty wide to fit plus size parents. And if we take this down, you can see I'm about a UK 12 on my upper half, and there's plenty of space for it to go down a little bit more narrow. So for a high street carrier, relatively size inclusive. A lot of carriers are much less so than this. So there's the waistband, that's quite nice. And then, as I said, we've got an internal harness structure. So we can do this bit up first, put it around over our shoulder. Straps are again padded and quite wide, but not overly bulky, relatively malleable. We have the back strap will go up and down to fit different shape backs, and we can tighten. And again, we've got quite a lot of webbing, so again we'll fit different shapes and sizes. And then if we bring the panel up, we can take a look at the panel. So at this point I could put baby in, but I'm going to talk you through the panel first. Panel is, we've got mesh material, and it's actually quite soft, quite malleable. Will fit around baby's back, and it feels really soft. Feels like quite nice materials actually. We've got padding out at the legs, so some nice spongy padding. We have a bit that flaps up and down, and we've got a hood hiding in here. There's some suck pads that came on it that sort of hide these little button bits. All fine. And we've got an adjustment system. So we've actually got quite an easy to understand adjustment system. We've got a pair of buttons here and 2 sets of loops. And the way this works is, so if I was just carrying an older baby inwards towards me, I wouldn't need any of these loops. I can just grab my baby and pop them in. Voila. And then I'm going to do these bits up, like so. So I'm going to do that up and then tighten, start to tighten. And again, same on the other side. Do these up and start to tighten. So my doll, for reference, is about the size of a 3 to 4 month old. So we've just got clips here which are relatively easy to do, and then these ones are actually magnetic, which makes them quite easy to get done up, because you can just sort of put them in the general vicinity and then the magnet will guide them in. I find them very easy to do up, so this is good for people with limited mobility and so forth, because they do just zonk in. I find them quite hard to get undone though. You've got to squeeze, and I find you really have to sort of wiggle and yank it. So I kind of think the magnet's a bit of a double-edged sword, makes it a bit easier doing it up, but a little bit harder undoing it. And then we have a little bit of adjustment here to bring baby a little bit closer to us if we need to. I'm desperately trying to tighten it because my baby is too loose. Let's see if I can tighten some more here. Even tightening some more there, we've got quite a bit of pull, and I have maxed these both out with a with a bigger 4-month-old doll. And this can be one of the real problems with an internal harness structure, because an internal harness carrier, because I can only adjust how baby's bit here and the sizing through this. I can't, adjusting the tightness through me doesn't make any difference at all. I can't tighten this up. Now, parents are always worried about making baby too tight, but really the only way to restrict, making it too tight, you'll impact your breathing, you'll always loosen off. That's never an issue for baby. You're never going to restrict baby's breathing by having a carrier too tight. The way that we can restrict baby's breathing is having a carrier too loose and having space that they can slump into. And unfortunately, I can't get this any tighter, which is a bit sad because actually otherwise I've got a really nice, comfortable seat for baby. But I can't get this any tighter, which means they're at risk that they could slump in and their chin could go against their chest. Even with an older child, where that is less of an issue because they have more strength to hold themselves up, that gape away from me is going to be heavy on me, it's going to pull. So that's a bit of a shame in what's otherwise quite a nice carrier. And it is worth saying that it's going to depend on you and your baby. Some will find that they'll get a better fit than others, but in general, the thing that always makes me sad about internal harness carriers is they are less adjustable, and so less easy to get a great fit on different shapes and sizes. And if it isn't just spontaneously fitting you and the size baby you have, then it just ends up not working or feeling a bit unsafe or feeling a bit heavy. So next I'm trying, doing this sort of automatically, I'm going to try my littler doll, and to adjust for them I use these loops. So I'm going to take this loop and pop it in here, and again pop it in there. So I do like that that is very, very, very easy to do. Literally just voila and done. And then I'm going to pop my baby in like so, pop them in, and again do it up, do these up. So what these have done is they've shortened this panel and they've made it a bit less tight. And actually I've still got loads of I've still got loads of things. I was going to say it feels better, but no, testing that, I've got even more space to lose my baby in Joie Savvy. Except I haven't done it up. There we go, that's a bad test, isn't it? Right, shall we test it now? Yeah, it's still these ones. These are nice and tight, those ones. And again, it's a real shame because how this has adjusted the panel, it's raised my baby up really nicely. I can squish them up like that. It's made it a bit narrower. My doll is about the size of a 6-week-old, and you can see actually even a smaller baby would fit in this quite nicely. It squeezes right down. But I am worried about the amount of space there is here. If you can get it snug enough, but I'm just worried that parents are going to need to be holding, or going to be worried. There's going to be too much movement as you're moving around. I'm going to be a bit worried that baby's airway is not protected. It's a bit of a shame because this carrier is, as I said, nice and soft and has quite an easy to understand adjustment system. Where I do think this carrier does actually really shine is when your baby is a bit bigger and you come to outward face. So I pop my baby down to set up for outward facing, and again I also like the fact that this system is so easy that I can do it while baby is in the carrier. I don't have to put them down. I mean I am, but that's just for ease of demonstrating. So to outward face, it's now these blue loops that are right in line, and that's going to tighten this part of the carrier but leave this wide. And what it does is it creates a really lovely bucket seat. So this time I'm back with my 4-month doll. In general, you want to forward face, well, you can forward face from sort of 4 to 5 months once your baby has really rock solid neck support. Jolie actually suggests from 6 months, but I would say once your baby has really strong neck control, so 4 to 6 months, so long as they fit in this nicely and it's not covering their face. And if I snap them on, you can see now this is where this carrier really shines, because we have a super beautiful bucket seat. Baby is sat really nice on their bum, their legs are coming out like they're sitting in a chair. We have got a bit of space, but actually because baby can now hold their head up, it's fine. As long as they're not pulling away and giving you too much backache. This is actually a really lovely positioning and one of the best forward-facing carrying positions I've seen, other than on Ergo and Tula. So thus far of Kings I've tried, I think it's quite hard to beat the Ergo and Tula seat, but this I think is right up there. So how does this compare with other carriers? Well, for outward facing, as I said, I think the positioning's up there with Ergo and Tula, but Ergo and Tula do a better inward position. You can get it tighter. I don't have those concerns about space for baby to slump into. Particularly with Ergo, you can also do a hip position. I should say this carrier we can do inwards, outwards, as I've shown. We can also do a back carry, but it is a slightly awkward method. I've got to take one arm up, one arm down and squiggle all the way round. There are a lot more options on how you get your baby onto your back. Just a lot more flexibility. You can do it that way, or you can do it in a way where you're less likely to elbow your baby in the face with the Ergo and with the Tula. So while I do think this is a lovely outward facing position, I just think the flexibility of fit, giving you more adjustability to get a really perfect fit that will really protect your back, means that I would still recommend the Ergo and the Tula above this. So I also wanted to compare it with the Nuna Cudl, because I was sent this by Tracy because it looks a lot like the Nuna Cudl. And it does actually, but I like it a lot more than the Nuna Cudl. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot softer. But just like the Nuna Cudl, I'm still really worried about the fit and worried about that space and that gaping. It is worth saying, while the Nuna Cudl retails at 160, and as a result, if you've watched my video, and if not, please do go back reviewing that, I really couldn't recommend it, because at 160 you really would be much better off buying a Tula or an Ergo. This carrier retails for 100, and it's often found in, on Amazon or in sales for sort of 80 or 60 pounds, which means it can be a bit more of a budget option. And if you're looking for a budget option, again, it depends what your needs are. I really wouldn't like to use it with a newborn because of that gape and because of that risk of slumping. However, with an older child, maybe it's an option, because it does do a really beautiful forward-facing position. But looking at the size of the panel, how long I think it would last, I think this is going to work best from about 4 months, but probably actually max out at about a year. So is that 60, 80 pounds still, or up to 100 pounds still worth it, when it's actually only going to last you sort of 6 to 9 months, versus an Ergo or a Tula, which will last you 2 years. So they are like almost twice the price, but they're around 150 to 170. So not quite twice the price, but around there. But they are going to last you 2 times as long. So I find it hard to, even as a budget option, suggest this carrier, knowing that people won't get as much use from it. That said, if you are looking for a budget option, another one to look at is the Beko Gemini. You can also get this on Amazon, and I have a affiliate link. I will pop it in. You can get the Beko Gemini from Amazon for around 80 quid. It does outward facing, inward facing, and it goes from 3 weeks to 18 months, and you can get a really nice snug fit. So again, I would probably always suggest that one rather than this, just because I think it would give you better value for money and a better chance of getting a really good fit, and putting less strain on your back, because we're able to really tighten it up. If you have any questions about this carrier, or would like any help with getting your own one set up or anything, please drop them in the thing below or send me a message directly. Really hope this has been helpful.